Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Styles by Michelle. This is going to be a hair diary of the past couple of weeks. It's time to color those grays again. You know how that goes. They are aggressive right there in the front. Why right in the front where I can see them? Why not in the back? Maybe I would leave them alone more. Anyway, so something happened while I was doing this hair color. As you guys know, if you've been watching my videos, I did a keratin treatment about 4 weeks ago. So I was anxiously waiting for the 4 week timeline where it says that it's safe to color after keratin treatment. Actually, I think the timeline is like 2 weeks, so this might be 2 weeks later. Anyways, as I was applying the color, I started to notice that my scalp was burning. I guess I should have done a better job to keep it off my scalp, and I don't know if it's because of the keratin treatment, but my suspicion is because I've been using a higher strength formula when it comes to the minoxidil. I've been using 7% instead of 5%. So it's definitely stronger than what my scalp is used to, and I have a feeling that because of that, the hair dye hitting my scalp caused a bit more irritation. I didn't leave my hair color on as long this time because there was kind of a burning sensation. So in the future, I'll be changing the hair formula I use, and I'll be going back to my Bigen hair color. It's kind of a powder hair color that you mix with water, and I think that was a bit milder than the Clairol textures and tones. We shall see, but in the future I'll try to do a better job of keeping it off my scalp. I usually keep the hair color on for about 30 minutes. I think maybe I lasted about 20 minutes this time before I felt like the burning was enough of a concern that I should rinse off the hair color. So now I'm looking at my scalp, getting ready to blow dry my hair. And as usual, I use a heat protectant spray because I want to protect my hair from heat as much as possible. I also got this new Sexy Hair Healthy Leave-In Conditioner. I've used it in the past. I really like this leave-in conditioner because it strengthens the hair. It has protein in it, and I want to make sure my hair remains strong. I'm also using a bond repair serum, and it gives my hair a little bit of shine and a little bit of slip to help with the blow drying process. Before I put the protective heat styling spray in, I used some Olaplex. I had a little bit left. It's an expensive product, but it helps to also repair bonds in the hair and strengthen the hair. So after I did that chemical process, I decided to finish up the bit of Olaplex that I had left to give my hair as much of a fighting chance as possible. So here I am, and this is what the keratin treatment looks like now after color. I have a little bit of shedding. You can see that 2 weeks later, my hair is already reverted back a little bit, mostly in the middle. Around the sides of my hair, around my ears, has always been a little bit of a looser texture and has always retained length better. But you can see that I have a little bit of my afro texture coming back. The keratin treatment is still making my hair a lot easier to blow dry and leaving me with fairly straight hair just from blow drying. I haven't been using the flat iron on it. I've just been blow drying so that I can kind of have an easier texture to deal with, hopefully less breakage. As you can see, my right temple there is still struggling. I've been using my 7% minoxidil as well as the ordinary hair serum. And I usually use both daily. If nothing else, I use my minoxidil daily, and then I use the ordinary every other day, especially on the hairline and the nape. Guys, my main struggle these days after my keratin treatment is what to do with my hair in order to keep it in a protective style where I don't always feel that it's not neat underneath the wigs, where I always have to be redoing it. Coming up, you'll see several protective style attempts that I've made, and I'm finding that because my hair is as straight as it is, that I'm having a lot of trouble keeping any style in my hair for more than a day or two without it unraveling, getting unruly, and getting wild under the bonnets where it has more potential for tangling and breakage. Especially in my crown, I'm dealing with ccca, and I really want to keep that as little manipulated as possible, but it just won't stay in a neat state. It wants to shrink up when I put the minoxidil on it. It is liquid minoxidil, and it wants to tangle with the hair around it. So moving forward, you're going to see me do a protective style that I thought that I was done with. Here I'm just showing you guys what the crown is looking like. It's quite a bit shorter than the hair surrounding it. Let's say it's about a 4-inch section of my hair, 4 inches in circumference or diameter, whatever you want to call it. Just that section in the middle that doesn't want to catch up with the rest of my hair. And so I want to put it in a longer term protective style. So guess what, guys? I'm going to be going back to extensions. Here I am showing you guys what the hairline is doing. Now I did look into using the wool yarn, the acrylic wool yarn extensions, to stay away from the regular toxic extensions I've been using, the Kanekalon. Here I am just showing you some of the shedding. And I'm trying to control my hair by putting in a little bit of grease. Trying to keep it off my scalp as usual, but just trying to give the hair a little more stick when I do a protective style. But anyways, I ordered some acrylic wool yarn and I did some research on it, and I decided it's probably going to make my scalp itch. And you know, with my ccca, I've been having issues with that. I've been having to make sure I stay on top of my Zyrtec a little bit more lately, as my scalp itching has been flaring up on me again. So by the time the wool yarn arrived, I had already decided that I was going to return it, so I returned it I think the next day and didn't put it in my hair. Here is one of the protective styles I'm attempting. I'm happy to see that I can cornrow my hair down even through the middle again, but it was a struggle. I must have cornrowed each of these cornrows about 4 times just trying to get the braid tight enough, because in some sections there's not much hair to grab onto. So here are some pictures of protective styles I've tried to keep in over the past couple of weeks after I did that color treatment. You can see how short my hair is, how thin it is right there in the middle. That's why I had to braid and re-braid and try to grab and re-braid that section. The couple of cornrows in the middle of my head were really not staying past a couple of days. Here I am trying to do some other things to keep my hair under control when those braids loosened up, using rubber bands, doing 2 braids, but the hair is so straight and short enough that it kept loosening from the rubber bands and getting wild. Here I am trying Bantu knots. The Bantu knots got really loose and wild after a day or 2. So I thought the Bantu knots would work, but they didn't. You can see how they loosened up and went crazy. So something new is next for me, and you'll see it in the next video, where I found a more hypoallergenic option to put in extensions in my hair. So that's going to be the next phase. Help! My hair just felt so dried out, so I put a deep conditioner on my hair with a heating cap and just left that on for a good 40 minutes. Here's a formula that I've started using recently. Here's a bonus for you guys. I'm mixing some fenugreek seeds and also going to be putting in some whole cloves as well as some rosemary leaves. So I put a couple teaspoons each of these into the jar, and I pour boiling hot water over it. Then what I did was I let it steep and left it to soak overnight. The next day I put it in the refrigerator because I didn't have time to use it, but I kept it refrigerated for a couple of days, and then I strained it. After I strained it and just got the pure liquid, I put it into a spray bottle. And what I've started doing is spraying my hair before I shampoo and deep condition. So I'll spray my hair with the clove, rosemary, and fenugreek water. Then I'll put in a heavy deep conditioning mask and then activate everything with heat for 20 to 30 minutes. Fenugreek can help reduce hair loss, promote hair growth, fight dandruff, and improve overall hair health due to its rich nutrient and antioxidant content. Fenugreek has anti-inflammatory properties that help soothe the scalp and may reduce hair shedding caused by follicle damage, and it helps with alopecia. Cloves contain eugenol, a bioactive compound with antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, and antimicrobial properties. Cloves' antifungal and antibacterial properties help maintain a clean scalp, preventing infections and dandruff that can hinder hair growth. It helps to neutralize free radicals that can damage hair follicles, potentially reducing hair thinning and hair loss. And last but not least, rosemary. It promotes hair growth by improving scalp circulation, reducing inflammation, and stimulating hair follicles through its antioxidant and antimicrobial properties. So that's my new treatment, and I keep it in the fridge for freshness. And by the way, it smells wonderful. I love the aroma of the cloves and the rosemary together. Let me know if there are any natural hair treatments that you feel have worked for you. Happy growing! Till next time.